Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Grunning, and welcome to your Prescription for Health.
Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Grunning, and welcome to your Prescription for Health. I am so excited that you are here with us today. Just give me a second to give you a little update on what we've been doing on our show in case you're new to Prescription for Health. This is Southwest Florida's local weekly TV program devoted to holistic health and healing. I'm a holistic medical practitioner in Fort Myers and Port Charlotte. I specialize in taking care of very complicated people with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, autoimmune disorders, hormone imbalances, and I discovered a long time ago that the answers for those conditions are not in traditional medicine. They're in natural things that heal people. Natural supplements, foods. There's a lot of things that we discuss on this show that will help you to get healthy. In our first couple of shows, we talked about all the problems that are facing America with our health here, from obesity to diabetes to metabolic syndrome to hormone problems to everything that we're dealing with, cardiovascular disease, cancer. And we looked at, in subsequent shows, some of the answers to those problems, mostly nutrition so far. And we've talked about some of the issues that we're going to have to deal with to get healthy, which are lifestyle changes. Well, today I have the privilege of being able to talk to Nancy Casey, who's from a wonderful company called Metagenics. And if you go to our website, you will see that there's a whole bunch of information on there about Prescription for Health, our show, about me, about our sponsors, one of which is Metagenics. And I hope that you'll go there, learn more information, click on the links, go to places, find out more things that you can do to get healthy. Well, Metagenics is a wonderful company, and so we're going to spend some time talking with Nancy Casey today and learn more about what they can provide for us on this journey toward better health. So Nancy, welcome to the show. We appreciate you being here.
Grunning.
So tell me a little bit about your background and why you're doing all this stuff with Metagenics.
Well, I came to Metagenics almost 5 years ago. And prior to that, I was with a pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
And the last pharmaceutical company I was with actually launched the first prenatal with the omega-3 fish oils in them. So before we did the launch, I wanted to be able to talk intelligently to doctors. So I did some investigation into the omega-3 fish oils and found out there's benefits for everyone across the board. But in particular, what piqued my interest was that they said there could be some benefits for people with MS. And I had been diagnosed with MS in 2000. And, I was suffering minor symptoms, for a long time. I started taking omega fish oils right away as soon as I read that. And it's been almost 5 years now, and I've been asymptomatic.
Wow.
Of course, I've added a lot of other things besides the fish oils, but that started me on the journey. And so I started looking at maybe pharmaceuticals isn't the answer, and that's when I came to Metagenics.
That's exciting, and that's kind of been my journey too. As many of you discovered, I had chronic fatigue syndrome, couldn't get better with any of the traditional medical treatments that anybody had to offer me, and it was really natural medicine, lifestyle changes, supplements that really helped me to get better. For those of you that don't know, multiple sclerosis or MS is a very complicated autoimmune disorder where your nervous system gets attacked and everything starts falling apart. And I am so thrilled that Nancy is doing so well. But again, what she discovered is what I discovered, is that there's a lot of natural things out there that we can use to get healthy. And this company, Metagenics, is very involved in that, correct?
Very much so. We are all about, we're not pill pushers. We're into people's lives. We're into people's health. And we're trying to reverse chronic illness.
Okay.
And the company is all about the science, all about the people, and all about really taking on the challenge that traditional medicine just can't seem to handle right now.
And on the screen, you'll see the website for Metagenics, which is a wonderful site. It's got a lot of great information on it, and you can go there to discover more about their products and what they have to offer to help you get well, but also to search for practitioners that provide these products, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So Nancy, tell me, what sets Metagenics apart from all these other supplement companies? I mean, there's hundreds of them out there. I get magazines and calls and things from people all the time saying, sell my products here. Why is Metagenics different?
And I love it when people ask me that question, because we are really different. And probably some of the biggest things that set us apart is the science behind our products. We actually are one of the few companies that have a dedicated research facility. It's in Gig Harbor, Washington, and we run between 3,000 and 5,000 patients through there a year, testing our products, number one, to make sure they're safe, and number two, to make sure that they work.
Wow.
So there's a lot of science behind our products. We also test every ingredient that goes into each product to make sure that it's pure and that it is what, you know, the manufacturer, the company, the suppliers say it is, and to make sure that the right ratio goes into everything. Another thing is we are one of the few nutrition companies that is actually triple GMP certified. What that means is that we have 3 independent auditing agencies that come into our manufacturing facility and make sure that we're doing things right.
Wow, that's exciting. And for those of you that don't understand, supplements are not regulated by anyone. Anybody can make any old claim that they want to make. The FDA kind of superficially supervises these things. What's so important for all of you is that you're taking supplements that you know actually contain the ingredients that they say they have, and that they actually do something, that there's some studies that show that this product actually helps you. And with most of the things out there, you can't be sure of that. With Metagenics, you can be. And that's one of the reasons that I respect Metagenics so much. So tell me a little bit about what kind of studies Metagenics has done, and why is that so important?
Well, another differentiation is we actually have what are termed medical foods. Now, the way I describe a medical food on the continuum between a basic supplement and a prescription drug, a medical food kind of falls in the middle. We are the only nutraceutical company that has them. And we are regulated by the FDA, and we do have to be indicated for a specific condition.
Okay.
So we have a medical food for fibromyalgia, which you use a lot of UltraClear Renew. We have medical foods for cardiometabolic syndrome. We have medical foods for inflammatory conditions, and we have medical foods for blood sugar issues.
So when we're talking about a medical food, and I know that you brought a couple of them here with me, let's pick out the UltraClear Renew for just a second here and kind of show that. So why is that a medical food? What makes it so that you can call it that?
Again, we're regulated by the FDA, and there's actual studies behind this.
Okay.
And that's actually the big thing, is the science and the studies. We have to prove that it actually works. And with the UltraClear Renew, we actually worked with patients with fibromyalgia. And you know, those are difficult patients to deal with. We got such wonderful results in symptom relief. And when you're relieving symptoms in a patient with fibromyalgia, you're talking about a quality of life issue then, because you're improving their quality of life. One of our other medical foods, which is the UltraMeal Plus 360, this is an exciting one because we just completed a multi-center trial at 3 major universities, the University of Florida, University of Connecticut, University of California, Irvine. And we looked at patients with metabolic syndrome. And in just 12 weeks, Dr. Grunning, we reversed metabolic syndrome in over 44% of the patients.
Just with changing their diet? Just with this medical food?
Just with, we used a modified Mediterranean diet and the UltraMeal Plus 360.
Isn't that amazing? So for all of you out there that are struggling with these disorders, and metabolic syndrome, was, as we've talked about on a previous show, is all about abdominal obesity, hypertension, high triglycerides, low HDL cholesterol, high blood sugar. It's a constellation of symptoms and problems that predispose you toward horrible things happening in your life. Diabetes, cardiovascular disease, sudden death, cancers, all kinds of things happen as a result of metabolic syndrome. Isn't it great to know that you can change that by the way you eat, by natural supplements that you can take, instead of having to take bags of prescription pharmaceuticals, which are basically just covering up the symptoms but never fixing the problem.
Right, exactly. And what we found is that when people change their lifestyle and do the use of the medical food, in these 12 weeks that people run through this program, a lot of them, if they can't come off some of their medications, they can at least titrate down. But what they're finding is some people can actually come off some of their meds.
Wow, that's exciting. And I know that you have some other things here with you. One of the things that I'm kind of interested in is fish oil, and you touched on that before, because as you and I have talked, there's all kinds of different grades of fish oil out there. And just because you're going to the store and going to some big store and buying fish oil, you think that it's okay.
Right.
But what are the problems with fish oil?
Well, there's a lot of contaminants in fish oil.
What do you mean by that?
Lead, PCBs, a lot of different things.
Mercury, heavy metals.
Heavy metals, exactly. And there was just about a year and a half ago, there was on the news, big blurb, is that they found so many contaminants in a lot of the fish oil sold at the big brand stores.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah, and Metagenics tests for 220 pesticides, 7 heavy metals, and then 32 other like PCBs, dioxin type contaminants.
So I know that you actually take your fish oil, which, by the way, if most people don't understand, fish oil comes from disgusting fish like mackerel and sardines and anchovies and really oily fishes. But you actually take those things and you distill them down and make sure that all those contaminants get removed, and you test to make sure that it does.
We test and we test and we test.
And you test and test and test. And that's really exciting. But for all of you out there who are just taking plain old everyday fish oil, be very careful, because some of it is full of a bunch of junk that you do not want to have in your body. Plus, you have to take a lot of it. It's not really the amount of fish oil that's important, it's the amount of omega-3 that's in the fish oil that's important. And so if you're taking one from a big place and it's just a 1,000 milligram fish oil capsule, there may only be 200 or 300 milligrams of omega-3 in that.
Right, exactly.
And so I know that Metagenics, yours is much more concentrated than that.
Absolutely. And a lot of times on the labels, they won't even tell you exactly how much of the EPA, DHA, which is the ones you want, are in there. They'll just say, 1,000 milligrams of fish oil.
Okay. So how does someone find a local practitioner that uses Metagenics products? Because I know that you only work through licensed healthcare providers.
Right.
So why is it that Metagenics chose to only work through doctors and other licensed healthcare people?
There's a number of reasons, and I alluded to one of them earlier. Is we're not in the pill business, we're in the health business. If we were in the pill business, we would sell to anybody. But we're in the health business, and so we want to make sure that people that are recommending our supplements actually know what they're doing. So we only sell to licensed healthcare practitioners. And to find a licensed healthcare practitioner, people can go to our website, which is www.metagenics.com. There's an area where they can type in the zip code, and it will pop up a list of practitioners in their area.
That's exciting, yeah. And I obviously am one of the practitioners who use this, but I'm not the only one in Southwest Florida. I think you've told me there's 30 or 40 practitioners in Southwest Florida who use Metagenics products. So I would encourage all of you, if you're interested in taking the right supplements that are good for your health, and you want the purity, you want a company that has provided studies to show these things actually work, go to Metagenics and learn more about where to find a healthcare practitioner who uses these products and get on them. And try to avoid going to the store and just buying any old multivitamin, any old fish oil, because for the most part those things are unregulated. There's no evidence that they actually do anything, and they may be contaminated with a lot of stuff that you don't want in your body. When we come back from our break, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other products you have and get into the subject of detoxification, which is a huge issue for me, and I really want to spend some time talking about that, because it's an issue that we're all dealing with in this country, and actually it's going to be the subject of, I think, my next show that's going to be on. We're going to talk extensively about toxicity and plastics and pesticides and all these horrible things. We're going to take a break now and go to our commercials that talk about our sponsors, and please pay attention to them, learn about these people, go and support them for putting this show on the air. Thank you. Medicine Shop Pharmacy has been serving Charlotte County for 27 years with the same owner and pharmacist, Wayne Wallace. They offer the personalized service of a small-town pharmacy, but the buying power of a large chain to keep prices low. Medicine Shop specializes in compounding medication, which means custom making them for each patient, including bioidentical hormones. They even have free delivery. Medicine Shop is located on US 41 in Port Charlotte. Call them at 941-627-9855.